Now again, good afternoon everyone. Now we are going to resume the session. Now we discuss about another data structure or data type, that is set. Which I will open tomorrow. Tomorrow we will open in the afternoon, and the relevant information we are going to share you on WhatsApp group as well as on Collect. So we are discussing about set data type. So set is one of the built-in data type which are available in the Python to store the collection of data item. So this is one of the four data type we have, that is the list, tuple, dictionary, and set is going to become the fourth one. All of these data types, built-in data types, have their own usage and importance and qualities and requirement. So set is used to store multiple items just like other data type in a single variable, which is a collection of unique data. It means element of that set cannot be duplicated. Remember that in case of set, items cannot be duplicated, whereas in the list, tuple, and dictionary, items can be duplicated. It means in the dictionary the value can be duplicated but key cannot be duplicated. So set is a collection of unordered, unchangeable and unindexed data items. It means set cannot be also indexed. Set items are unchangeable, but if you want we can remove some item or we can add some item, but the item which are available that cannot be changed, and we could not able to refer those items of a set using the index. That's why it is known as the unindexable collection of item. How to create the set? We can use the set to create using the curly braces similar to the dictionary, but it does not have the key. It means we should have only the values. Okay. Here you can see in the example, we wanted to create a dictionary or set. So similar to the dictionary, we have to use the curly braces. Then we can write the different item 112, 14, 16. So this is going to become a, you can say the IDs, and that we can display, and then we can get this as a set. And if you want to check what the type of this variable, single variable which can store multiple items, that we can see collection of item ID, some type, spelling mistake, not variable. Now close this one. Here it is the problem underscore ID not comma type ID. Imply and we have to make this type. Better I can type this one print empty id, comma empty underscore id, comma type, and then we can make the empty capital empty underscore id. Now we can get a syntax error in the line, parsing line number 4. (22, 34, 45, 67). Now we can print e, comma type e. Now you can check, it is coming to be a collection of item which is of type set. Okay. So this set is a collection of item which is not similar to the dictionary. In the dictionary we are using the collection of item as a key value pair, but here it is simply a collection of item. If suppose we want to duplicate some item, that should be not be allowed here. Say we are going to be duplicate 22. Okay, now let's check what is going to be happened. Now check here, because it is an initial creation of the set. So this duplicate element is going to be appear only once. But if you want to add this item into this set which are going to be duplicated, then we will get a appropriate error. Now if you want to create an empty set E, say S, okay, which does not have any element, then we are required to be use the empty. We have to use the empty underscore set, that is the constructor base. Okay. Empty set is not defined. This is some mistake. It is not empty set. This is going to become a set now. So this set, now you can see we are getting a set, and if we want to type its group to which it belongs, this data type belongs, we can get that S is going to become of type set. So this set is going to become an unordered collection of items with no duplicate element, which are going to be support various functionality. Using this set, we can check whether some of the items available in this collection of set or not. We can perform this membership testing. We can eliminate duplicate entry, because if you are creating a collection of items as a set and anyone wanted to add some item which are going to be duplicated, that will not be added to that particular set. They are going to be rejected. So in that way we can eliminate the possibility of duplicate entry in any of the collection of item which was declared as a set or which was created as a set. It will support various kind of set operations such as union, intersection, difference and symmetry differences. So using set constructor, we can also create a set where we are going to be specify the different items which are going to become part of the set. So here we check example. We are using the set constructor and giving the set of item. If we want to create an empty set without any item, then we can use no item inside this bracket. Whereas if you want to initialize with some item, then we can use the set constructor, and this will be consist of in this the item apple, banana, cherry, or even though I can make 23 or 50. Okay, then you can display this set. Now you can see giving the apple, cherry, banana as a set. So this set will also consist of different type of values. Okay. So we can also create a set, say here true, false, it is going to become a set, and we can create also a set which can be consist of the mixed values. It can be consist of mixed value, integer, string, or it can also consist of various other type of data. Let's check it. Let's check it. Will it support? So we are going to make a n equal to 23, 35, 90, comma 3, 5, 6. Let's check what is happening here. Print, yes, unshapable type list, meaning is that it will not going to support different type of tuppers here. It is not taking. Okay, or I can make 4. It is not doing, but here there is no repetition is happening although, so this functionality will not work. Okay. It means there need to be a collection of similar type of item. Okay. So mixed set of data types can be available there. Okay. Duplicate values are going to be ignored. If we want to initialize any of the set which consists of multiple duplicate items, so during the creation your interpreter are going to ignore the duplicate item and going to be consider only the non-duplicate item into the set. We can know the length of the set by using the length function. We can access the item of a set, individual item of the set, by using the for loop. And in that for loop we can use in operator, in keyword to know individual item, and then we can display the individual item, because this set does not indexable. So using the index we could not able to find out the individual item. So we can know the set of element from this cherry and fruit out. We can make a L equal to length fruit we can know, and then we can print what is the length of this, means what is the total number of count of item into this fruit set. And we can also make the individual value to be displayed using the for loop, for in fruit, F-R-U-I-T colon, and then we can display individual item which are coming to the I. We can display this I. Now we can make here. You can also write int. This int we can use. Okay. We are getting this total number of item into this fruit set is 5. We are getting the 5, and individual values are going to be displayed using the for loop, apple, cherry, banana, 50 and 30. We can add any item into this particular set using the add function. And we can also able to add some set inside another set. So check here, we have this add function to make this item to be added. So we can use the add. So here we want to add in a particular set. So S equal to, suppose 2, 3, 6. So we can add into this one s dot add, and we are adding some item, say 30. So now this set will be consist of 30 added to the 30. Similarly, we can able to add some set, add some item which are coming from another set into the current set. Then we can use the update. So one of the set is updated with the content of another set. Suppose we have S and U, two sets are there, 3, 6, 9. Other set is 20, 30, 40 in curly braces. Then we can make S dot update, and then we can write the set which we want to update, the set S. Then set S is going to be updated, but set U are going to be remain same. Similarly, we can use the update method also, where what we can do, we are taking some set as a country. Now we are taking one of the list, and that is going to be updated with the new list. So we can also use the, say here the country, we can write the country dot update. Now this update we are going to do with some of the table item, which can be list, which can be tuple, or which can be dictionary. So we are going to be use this PM, which are going to become a list. So this set is going to be updated with the content which are available into the PM list. We can remove the item from the set by using the remove, and in that remove we have to mention which item we want to break. So we can make S dot suppose remove, say 33. So this is going to be remove the 33. Here it is removing 22. And suppose we want to remove and wanted to give any other value, say 99. If that value does not exist into this particular set, we will get a key error. It means this particular value does not exist. And we can also able to discard. Okay. There we can also use the discard function to remove some item, say discard 99. The difference between this remove and discard is that in case of remove function, if any key we are giving which does not exist, that value does not exist, in that case we will get a key error. While we want to remove any item from the set using the discard method, and if that value does not exist, it will not going to throw any kind of error. That is the difference between the remove and discard. We can use the pop method to remove an item randomly from that particular set. And we are not sure that randomly which item are going to be removed. So we can use as a, say s dot pop. So randomly some items are going to be removed, and that removed item are going to be returned x. If I want to print x, I can get which item was removed, which was the random removal. So remove, discard and pop you can use to remove the item from the set. Clear method used to make complete item from this set to be removed. It means we want to clear the set. Set is going to become empty. We can also use the delete method to delete the set completely. In case of clear, only the content are going to be removed. Whereas in case of del method, the complete set are going to be removed. The set will not exist further. Whereas in case of the clear method, your set is empty and that is not permanently deleted. We can also able to do through a set by using the for loop, which we have been already seen. We can join two sets using the union function, and we can use the update method which are available there. So using this union method, we can get a new set which contain the item from both the set. So set A, ABC, set 2, 1, 2, 3. We can make set 1 dot union set 2. It means set 1, set 2, they are going to be combined and we are getting a new set, set 3, where the item which are exist into the set 1, set 2, they are not going to be changed. If we are going to use the update, say s1 dot update, yes, say 2, then in this method the s1 is going to be updated with the content of s2, so the original content of s1 is going to be modified, whereas the original content of s2 remains the same. So this is the use of union and update. So this difference we should note down. So this set will keep only the duplicate. So intersection update method can be used to keep only those items which are present in both the set. And this method are going to return a new set which contain only those items which are present in both the set. So we can use as a x dot intersection underscore update y. So this y and x in both whatever the common items are there, they are going to be kept into the x. So x is going to be updated. So here we have the apple which are common and no other item, so we can get x to be as a apple. If we are going to make a x dot intersection y, in that case we can get a new set which will be consist of the item which are present in both the set x and y, and x will not going to be updated. If we want to keep all but not the duplicate, then we can use the symmetric difference update function, which are keeping the elements that are not present in both the set. And symmetric difference, which will also going to be contain only the elements which are not present in both the set, but this symmetric difference are going to return a new set. So how we can use x dot symmetry difference underscore update y. So now this x will consist of the item which are available in both the item which are not present in both the set, whereas x dot symmetry underscore difference, it will go to return a new set which contain only the elements which are not common to both x and y. So if you want to make any set to be modified, then we can use the underscore difference underscore update, otherwise we have to use the symmetric underscore difference. Or we can use the union, intersection, subtraction, symmetry using the sum operator. This is for the union, this is for the union, and for the intersection, and this minus for the subtraction, and type for the symmetric difference. So we can apply these operators also, and we can get the similar functionality. Okay. Such as set dot union set B, we are getting a new set. Here if you are going to make a set A and union of set B, we can get a new set which are going to display. So if you want to make a new set, we can make again set A union set B, that we can do. So they are going to be revert you back a new set. We can check whether two sets are equal or not by using the equality signature equality operator, set A equal to set B. If they are same, contain the same element, then it will go to return a true. Then we can know these sets are same. So these are the different operations which are available to the set. Now we can check few examples of these set related functions. So let us check it for the removal. We want to remove from this number we have the 4, 30, 100. Now we want to remove set dot remove. We are going to make a n dot remove. The set is n dot remove. We want to remove say 90, and then we can print the operator set n. Now you can check, we are getting 90 to be removed. Now we can able to make this remove n dot remove, and from there we want to remove say 900. We will get an error, that is a key error. It means this number does not exist. It means that my program is terminated. If I am going to write any other statement thereafter, that will not going to be executed. Okay? Because we got some error at this n dot remove. So next instruction is not going to be performed. But if I can use the discard, so no exception errors are going to be thrown. Not going to be thrown. Discard 100. Now you can see. Okay. In that case, 90 was removed, 900. So 900 does not exist. Still, it will not going to throw any error. My program will proceed to the next instruction. Now, if you want to do the pop, do this pop, or you can write any x equal to n dot pop and print x. It is 35. Next time I can make again the pop, print, directly make the call the pop inside the print or print. Now you can see we are getting the randomly 100 to be pop, and if we can use instead of that pop item, then it is going to pop the random. The pop item is not here, that will be available in the dictionary. So if you want to make to be delete, so I can make a pop is what doing? Pop is going to remove that item. So that item does not remain into the set, and pop is also doing the same thing. Now we can able to delete or clear the set. So we can use clear n dot clear. Now we can print this one. Now you can see we are getting the type of errors. We can also do type of errors. Now we can get the class in. We say that set was clear. But if you want to call the delete, n dot delete, and then we can able to display the. This need to be primarily n. Now you can check. In case of clear, that item was deleted. This was clear. So we are getting a empty set. And if we can use the delete, so that is not delete del. Now you can check. uh, del, we have to use the del and the syntax we have to follow always. Now del, now you can see that was deleted. Now it was deleted, so we are not getting the, we are not type of n, because no more that set is available. Another example you can check for this set related operation. Here we want to do the union of two set. Whether set 2 and set 3, we are taking this set to be updated and check what is outcome we are getting. W, D, C, now this we got it, and then we are again missing 10, 20, 30. This also has a problem. Check it. So W, comma B, comma C. So we got a set. Now you can check here. We are getting set 3, which are going to come to be a combination of in set 1. Set 2 are going to be added. So set 1 is, what is set 1? It is the WBC. Set 2 is a 10, 20, 30. So this is unordered, because set is unordered, so any item can be put anywhere. The interpreter can do for you. We could not able to predict their position. So set 3 was a new set which was created. But if you want to use the set 1 dot update set 2 update function, then set 1 was updated. But here if you want to check the print set 1, now you can check the set 1 was WBC, but now set 1 was changed with the content of set 2 also. So that difference we are required to keep on our mind. Looping, there is one question. Suppose we have looping instruction on a list or a set in which one of the element is a list in itself. How will it execute it? See, in that case, see if you are going to be use the loop. In that loop, we are getting a list, and then further we are required to be apply the loop. That is the only way we can able to get the individual item. Because once we are going to use the for I, then I are going to get the individual item. That item can be list or can be tuple. So once we got in the I that list or tuple, then we can apply for the appropriate way of extracting the individual item from that particular list. For example, let us take one scenario. We are taking L equal to 23, 5, 6, 7, 8, and assume that we are going to make this to be as a further list. Okay? And if you want to apply the for I in L or in L, and we want to display what? Print I. Now what we are getting? We are getting the third item to be a list. Okay? And from this list, I we got as a list, then we can able to again apply the individual looping to get the item from that particular list. or we can do the split of this list and then we can able to apply further the individual item to be used in your program. So this way we can able to you can try all these functionality. So overall this Python have various data structure to store the collection of items. We have the list which is ordered and changeable, which can also allow the duplicate members. Tuples, which is a collection of items which is ordered and unchangeable. Tuple is immutable, whereas dictionary is a collection of items which is ordered and changeable. So now the use of the tuple is in the dictionary. So whatever the key we are going to create into the dictionary, that should be created as a tuple, because tuple will never going to change. So immutable item. So wherever required, the key we should going to be declared as a tuple. And dictionary also does not allow the duplicate item with the duplicate key. It means value can be duplicate, but key should not be same of two item. Set is collection of item which is unordered, which is also not changeable, which could not be indexable, but it will also not support the duplicate item. So wherever some collection I want to create where duplicate items should not could be permitted, we should create that list as a set. Wherever duplicate can be allowed, we can go and use the list. Ordering does not require to be changed, we can use the list. Where we want to create a collection of items where the item should not going to be modified, changed, then we can use the tuple. Where we want to create key value pair, where the values are going to be accessed through the key, then we can able to use the Python. So remember that, we can use the dictionary in the Python. So remember that in case of dictionary, whatever the access of these values are occurring, that is going to be occurred using one kind of hashing. Okay? Internally they are going to use the hashing. So they are going to be indexed those values based on the key which are stored into the dictionary. So your access are going to become faster, and update is also going to become faster. Okay. So during choosing the what type of collection data type we have to use, we should require to be understand the property and characteristic of all these data type, list, tuple, dictionary, set and string, and then we can choose the right type of data for a particular data set for the purpose we want to create our collection of items. So retention of meaning and increase in efficiency as well as the security of item, that should going to be a way to decide which of the appropriate type of data collection we want to create using these data structures which are available in the Python. Okay. So this much about the set. Next we are going to be talk about another module, that is function. So I will take just 5 minutes of break and then I will start about the function concept in the Python. So just we are taking a 5 minutes of small pause. Okay, good evening to everyone. Now in this section of session, I am going to be discuss about the function. How to write the function, how to use the function in our program. Let us see what is the function. So function is basically one kind of program. It is also a self-contained program which are designed to perform some special task. So we are creating a set of code, a segment of code which are designed so that it can perform a specific task. So this block of code which we are saying that it is a function will design to make a specific task to be take place, and that task which this function is performing, we can use same function anytime, anywhere in the code to make that task to be performed again and again without writing the same block of code again and again in the program. So generally functions are used to do the divide and conquer strategy of solving the problem. So any problem can be easily solved by doing the divide and conquer strategy, where we have some larger problem which we want to solve. I can break that problem into the small sub problem, and further if suppose this sub problem 1, 2, 3 and third problem is further going to become a hard problem, I can again divide this sub problem into further sub problem, and then we can able to solve this individual sub problem, and then their results are going to be combined and we can able to get complete problems are going to be solvable. So to make this kind of problem to be solved, we are required to be write the segment of code for a specific task using the function. So function is nothing but it is going to become a named independent section of code that perform the specific task, and sometimes this function can also return you back some value in the program where we want to use that function. So all functions are going to become stand-alone independent code which could not going to be nested in any other construct. So there are two type of functions we can able to observe in the programming languages. Also in the Python, we have one built-in function which is some standard functions that are available for programmer to use it. So they are ready available functions. The code for those functions was written by the language designer, and we are required to be use that function for our task. For example, we are using the length to know the length of some list. Okay. So that was the design inbuilt function. We can able to use the print we have been used. So we can able to display the content. We can use the list as a constructor. We can use the rank. We have been used the input. So these are the ready-made functions which are available as a library into the program. Besides these built-in functions, programmer can also able to create, or you can say user can define their own functions. So user can create, programmer can create own functions as per the needs, and then those functions can be reused again and again without repeating the same code in a program. So let us take some of the built-in functions which are available for us to use, such as absolute. We can use the absolute function and giving any number, say 100. This will give me the absolute value 100. If I am giving negative 100, this will also give me the absolute value of this number. we can use the division, modulus division. So modulus division we are doing x modulus y. Okay, that we are doing. Now into using the modulus operator. Same can be done or same task can be performed using the built-in function div mode division, modulus division. And in this case we are going to give some argument mod 9 and 2, and this function division mode are going to be returned as the remainder. So that remainder are going to be returned back, given back in the calling program. So in this program I am calling this division mode. So they are going to give me the value in the return, result in the return. Similarly, I can use the print all, okay, and giving the list. So we can get a true value if all the values are going to become positive. If any of the value are going to become negative, we can get a false. Okay. So for that purpose, all is the ready-made function, built-in function which are available. We are using the range -10 to 10 start value and end value. Within that I can get a sequence of number as a list, as a range. Okay, and then we can convert this range of number in a list using this list constructor. Okay, or we can use the filter. These filter ready-made functions are going to be find the positive number, okay, from this number list. So this way we can able to use different kind of built-in function which are available. Now here you can see this is the list of various available built-in function in the Python. You can refer the manual or any book. Now let us discuss about how we can create our own function. So we can define function which can provide us the required functionality which we are expecting from the code, from the program. So how the function can be defined? That will be defined by using the def keyword. So def is the definition, def keyword, and then we have to write the name of function by which name that function we are interested to create the code, just like input, print, list, length. So like that we have to give some name, and these functions may also take the argument, some parameter, just like what we did length and giving the L. L is going to become a list 4, 2, 3, 4. So here this length has been taken, an argument list, and number of values that count they are going to return as a return value. So we are getting some, or you can take this different. Now we are getting this outcome. So it means that every function may also take the argument, some parameter. After that we are required to write one of the special comment which are going to be written into the triple code. By writing that one, we are going to be specify some kind of documentation saying that what kind of task this function are supposed to do, what kind of parameter it is taking, what they are going to be written. Like that, some kind of documentation or some kind of detail we want to write which are not executable, so that later on if you are going to be open that function, we can recall that for what purpose this function was implemented. So such kind of some brief description we can able to give here as a multi-line statement. Then we can write a set of executable statement, just like a normal program we have been written. We can write statement 1, statement 2, and if this function are supposed to revert back some value, then we can use the return keyword, and then we are writing here the value which we want to get it back. If we are writing any expression here, say x plus y, then their value are going to be computed and the result of this expression are going to return. So here you can see we are declaring one of the function. Def keyword, name of that function is display name, and here we are taking one argument name, and then we are writing one code print my name is plus name, right? Name. This name is coming from the argument, but this printing is done by this particular function. What this function is supposed to do, I written one multi-line string as a comment. This function print the name, so that way we can able to create. Now if that function which we created want to call, want to use, then how we can do this one? We have been say here created this function display, and in this function we return the print statement for printing the name. Then what we'll do, we are going to be call this function, use that function which we have been created. How we can call? We have to use the name of function, display name, and this function is taking some argument, so we should give here some argument. Since this name is name of a person, name will be always a string type of value, so we are giving here some value Tendulkar as a argument. This Tendulkar are going to be given to this name variable, and that name is going to be used here inside the display name function. And then this display name function have the task to display the name, so that is going to be take place. Okay. Now let us take few more examples here. Now here you can check. In this code we have named print function. Okay. Now if you want to display and use this function to be called, we are calling the print name. Okay. So name of the function is print name, taking some argument name. So we are printing the print name, giving here one argument. And if we want to call this function and running this code, we are getting the my name is Tendulkar, okay, which are written here. If we are not giving here some argument, then this Tendulkar argument should not be provided here. Okay. Similarly, you can take another program where we want to add two number. For that we want to create a function. So how we will create? First we have to define a function with the keyword def, and then a function add two number. Okay, add two number, or you can take also add function, suppose, right? And giving two number. Number what we are giving? X. Take it. X. And we are giving y as a two number, right? And we retain some of the statement that is not necessary. Here we are writing a comment that this function is supposed to add two numbers, some two numbers. So we have written this so that we can know what is the purpose of this function. Now we are going to be write a normal code. We want to add x, y, so we can use the sum equal to x plus y. That we can do. And then in the function we want to display also the sum of two number as a sum. So now this function was created. Remember that this function should consist of many statements. So what are the statements which is part of this particular function? We are required to be make this set of instruction to be have the indentation. So after some indentation, we have to write set of statement which should be part of this function add. After that this function was defined, I can use this function. It means we want to call the function. So we are calling this function by how? By writing the add. What is the name of function? calling add, and we are giving the value say 10 and giving 20. Okay, so this is the function was called, and this indentation of this add is not the part of statement of the defined function. Okay, so now if you want to execute this code, what we are getting the sum to be of two number 30. So 10 will be assigned to the x, second 20 will be assigned to the y. So we are getting 30. Same function I can call again and again without rewriting the code. Add minus 30 60, that we can do. Again we can call add 3, 5, add minus 1, minus 8. Now we can check it again. What we are getting? Add 10, 20, 30, minus 30, 60, 30, 3, 5, 8, minus 1, minus 8, 9. So what we see here, we are required to be define the function once and reuse those functions again and again with different set of values. Okay? So that is the use and importance of function. Now here you can see other way. In this add function we are giving the argument x, y when we are calling the function. Here we are giving as argument. Sometimes we do not require to give any argument to this add function. So there these arguments can be taken only inside the function. Inside the function as a statement. For example, here suppose we created one of the function add number. In this add number we want to add two numbers. So number 1 we are taking inside the function itself as a argument. Number 2 as a argument to be taken from the user. So we are not giving any parameter to the add. Then this add function should take no argument. This will be have the empty parameter in this bracket. And these two values num1, num2 I am reading from the user inside this add function as a input. Okay. So now since this number is coming from the input as a integer, so we as a string, so we have to convert this into the number so that addition can take place appropriately. So we are making this input int, then we are making it. Now these two numbers are added and the sum is going to be displayed in this particular function add number itself. And thereafter we are going to call this function add number. So when we are going to call the add number, now remember that this add number name of the function we are giving. If it does not take any argument, we have to give the bracket inside, no parameters are required. Okay. Again we can call if you want. Again we can able to get some input from the keyboard. Now you can check. We are calling add number. The control is going to the function to be called. In the function, the first line is take the first number. We enter 3. Second executed second statement. Number 2, 5. Then this will execute the sum number plus 1. Then print the sum plus sum. Now sum is displayed. And thereafter this function is going to be terminated and your controls are going to come to the main program. Now suppose if you want to call again add number, again you can run MUMB. Okay. Now you can run now. First time it is calling, asking for some number, 10 I given, 20 I given. Next time again this function is going to be called add number. Again I can give a different number, so 9, 1. Now I can get 10. Fine. Okay, so this way we can create the function. So here you can see what are the different flavor of function which are possible there. We create functions which have different flavor. So there are 4 possibilities are there. One is that we are creating a function which is not taking any parameter, any argument, and also not returning any value. That is one variation of the function. Second, where we are going to be taking some argument, giving some parameter to the function, and that is not returning you back any value. Third possibility is that it is taking some argument and also giving you back some return value. Fourth function is of type which does not take any argument, but it will return a value. So we have been seeing one function that is add, which is taking 2 number to be added, but it is not giving any value back. And also we have been observed some function which is taking no argument and not returning any value. Now let us check how to create the other 2 flavors of function which will take argument and return the value, or which will not take the argument but also going to return a value. So function with no argument, no return value. So say here we have the display line. Many functions we are creating, right? So one is the display line. Definition: display line, not taking any argument. What we are trying to do here, display one line having the symbol as a star. This is one line we are creating. So in that we are writing from j in range 0 to 40. So every 40 times this star are going to be printed. Okay? They are going to be displayed. And another function we are creating, sum. This def sum with with the colon. Sum is not taking any argument. It is void. Void means no argument. Now we are reading 2 value, enter a, enter b, and then we are displaying the sum of a plus b. This we can also write s equal to a plus b, and here a plus b we can write also the sum. That can be possible. Okay. Now these 2 functions we created which does not take any argument. Now if you want to call these functions, so we are calling a display line. What it does, it is going to be called the display line function and going to create a line of star. Okay, line of star. Then sum is going to call and it will ask for the 2 input value, and then they are going to display the sum equal to a plus b. Suppose we are giving the 5 and 10, we will get a 15. Again, if you want, we can call display line. Okay, no argument we are giving. Then we can get another line here. We can get it. So these 15 are displayed between the line. In case function we want to create taking some argument and no return value. So here what is happening in case of this display line, the symbol for the line was fixed. Every time display line we are going to create a line with the star symbol. If we want to change this star symbol to be different symbol, this should be given by the program. It means which are given in the main program, which was entered by the user. Then we can take here argument, and then that argument should be displayed instead of star. Now check here, the same thing we are doing in the another code. See, initially it was no characters. Now I am taking one argument, character here, assuming that it is a string. Okay, ch we have been taken. Now whatever we are displaying here, here, this ch is going to be printed. Okay. Now one thing have you observed? Will this display line can display line with the star as a single line? Is it possible with this code? print. It is a print, not printf. It is a print. Anyone can type. Now this print will going to print a star. Then in the next iteration again they are going to print. That star will be printed into the new line, not in the same line. To make this to be displayed in the same line, we are required to use the delimiter in and space. Okay, so that it will not go to the next line after displaying, waiting on the same line. So the same thing we did here in another modified code with the argument in the function. So here in star and a plus b sum, we are giving the argument a b, taking the parameter, doing the summation and going to be displayed. Okay. Now this a b is given as the argument, so we can able to call these functions how as a display line and given here say $. Okay, $. And then we can call the sum as a sum and given the argument say 2 5, not any issue in creating a line with different symbol. So now here we are making the symbol to be hash. So first line is coming as a $, and we are getting some value 5 to some 7. Then we are getting a line with the hash. Okay. But if these a and b, instead of giving the hard coded value, if we want to take from the user, then we have to write before this call of this function to read from the user. So we are calling input inter character to print the line. We have been taken one character say C, H, and then we are calling a display line and passing this character H into the display line. Then we want to take the two input from the user as a and b. Here we have been used the split function. Okay, split function to read the input in a single line. But instead of that, we have been used here list comprehension. So int x for x in input dot split. Okay, so x and y are going to be stored here. Then we are calling the sum x y and again display ch or ch, whatever we are going to take it. Okay, so here we are giving only the argument, but this function is not returning any value. Another flavor of the function is that we are giving some argument and this is also returning a value. In that case, how we can create? We can create a function def add ab, adding the number ab because arguments are given, and since it is going to return a value, we have to use the keyword return. Return what value you want to make this function to return r. Another function subtraction a and b argument colon return a minus b. That we can also do the directly. Otherwise, we can write here s equal to a minus b, and then we can give the return s. That is also possible. Division a and b, divide a by b, getting the d. If we want to get a float division, I can use the a double backslash d. Okay, return d. So this return keyword we have to use. So these three functions add, subtract, division, taking some argument and returning. So when we want to call this function, how to call? Use this name of the function, and it is asking for the argument, so we have to give the two arguments. Right? Now since this function is returning some value, it means that we are required some assignment operator and L value is required. Left hand side some variable is required. So we are giving here say a. Okay. So if you are writing anything say a equal to b plus c. So here this right of this assignment operator, this is known as the r value. Okay, R value, and left of this assignment is known as the L values. Okay, so assignment operator always requires some R value and L value. So add will require some L value. Otherwise, this call is going to be give you the error. So the result of addition which are returned was stored into the A. If we want to display or print, I can call the print, and this A is the result of 10 plus 2 which are given by the add as a return value. So we can directly make this A to be print inside the function in which we are calling the add. Okay, and if these two values you want to read from the user, so you can use the map function. This is the other variation. What we are doing, we are taking the map and then we are giving one function in, and then we are taking the split input dot split. Okay. So whatever the different value we are taking the single line, say 2, 3, 4, 5, suppose they are going to be split as a individual list 2, 3, 4, 5. Each will be given item given to the integer function and apply the integer conversion. Then they are going to return as a 2 which are storing into x, 3 to the integer function returning into storing into the y. So that is the way this map function can also be used to read the multiple input with the help of split function. Then we can call the R return add xy. So xy is given which we have been taken from the user. Then print the sum equal to R. Same way we can able to call the sum subtraction. Okay, maybe 10 and 20. Since it is returning some value, so we can directly print this sub 10 plus 2. So here what will happen? This function sub 10 plus 2 are going to be called, and whatever the return of this function value is coming, that is going to be displayed. Similarly, you can call the division. Okay. Now the last flavor of this function is some function which will not take any argument but returning the value. So if it is not taking any argument, so how the operation are going to perform, how the computations are going to perform? It means that all those values which are required, variables which are required, that should be taken inside the function itself from the user. For example, here we have the sum we have been defined. This is not taking any argument. So we are required to take those two values or those three values which we want to add. So here we want to add three values, three numbers. So these just y get we are taken by using the split function in a single line. So these just y get are going to be sum, and then they are going to be returned. So if it is returning, we have to use the return function, return keyword. Okay. This definition read number, they are reading some number and going to return that number which was read. That can be also happening. Okay. So read number is going to be called, and since it is using the keyword return to return some number, so we have to use the L value, which means variable on the left hand side of assignment. If you are not using this num, then read number are going to give you the error. Then we have to call the R sum. We can get the sum of this. Okay. So this is the how these functions can be met. Now let us take running examples of these functions, type of functions. Here you can get, here we are adding these two numbers, right? Now if you want to functions are here, we can check here, we have written this one. Same I am going to use the code so that while you are going to read the slide, you will not get any problem. to correlate with this statement. Now you can see enter the value we are writing. Here this function is okay. This is some function I am defining, which are going to take some two value, not as argument, but they are going to return. They are going to return some value. So we are taking this a and making this s equal to a plus b, and then we are going to make this return s. Here bracket is not necessary, and then you can make a display line here. Okay, and then we are going to make this r equal to sum, and then print sum. Print sum. Print r. Sum is r. It's coming later, so enter a. Input enter value, and you can copy and try to use the integer value 2, value 1. Now run. Trace value or some name print. Okay, this is a mistake. It is not a, it is a print statement. Okay. Now you can observe it is making the single line, so we are required to make it to be separated with some space in the same line. Okay. Now you can okay, that has some problem. Now display was not called run sum. So now it is asking some function to enter some value, set to asking second value 30, and then this is going to return you the sum 32. That 32 was used in this calling program, stored into the R, and that was going to be displayed here. If suppose you want to create one add function or subtract, and it may take also the argument, right? We can make this to be take some arguments. We are making this x comma y, and then we are going to be write a function m equal to x minus y, and then return m. Okay, and then we can call the sub, and here we are making the s to be equal to sub, and print the subtraction of these two numbers, will be as, okay, it is sub is taking 2 arguments, so we are going to give the 90 and other value we are giving the 20. Now you can check. We are required to the foreign, right? This is the syntax error that we require to be removed. Now see, one line is displayed due to the display line, and it is asking for some value 20 and 30 we given in, it is single line, so you have to give in the separate as a separate statement. Now enter 20, enter 30. Now you can get a sum is 50 and subtraction is 90 and 20. 90 minus 20, we are getting 70. Okay. So now we have been seen how any function can take the argument, how the function can be return a value. Sum in, okay. Now what is that code is written? सर एक बार उधर हटाना, वहाँ से ड्रॉ एक्स्ट्रा लगाना, क्या लिखा हुआ है स्कोर करना, क्वेश्चन जो है कोई यहाँ पे नहीं, इसमें टेक्स्ट, हाँ ओके, डेफिनेशन सम व्हाट इज टाइप इट इज देयर एनी क्वेरी, थोड़ा सा ऊपर करो, देयर सम क्वेरी और व्हाट आई थिंक बाय मिस्टेक इट टाइप
डिलीट कर दिया है आई थिंक.
ओके ठीक है. Okay, there is one mistake that I use the printf. That is not the function of. That is not the function in the Python. That's why this error was came. Okay, fine. So that way, I think you are able to create the different flavors of the function. Okay. These functions can also take the not a normal number, but it can also take the different type of collection of items. Okay, how this will take different collection of items? Let us take here in the example. We have one of the function get some list, right? What we are creating? We are creating one of the function which will take the list and going to find out the sum of the list. So definition get sum LST, that is one argument we are passing. And we want to find out the summation of these lists. So how we can sum it? We are required to take some variable as a sum which can store the sum of the items in the list, initialized with the 0. Then we have to take this list iteratively one by one, num in list, and then we are going to be taking the sum equal to sum plus num. Okay. It means sum equal to previous sum plus current number. So that way this will going to keep on adding up to the list are going to be exhausted, and then this function which I am creating, that is going to be returned as the sum of this list. So this function is taking the argument and going to return the value, return sum. Remember that if you are trying to create a function in your program, it is better and worthwhile to create some function which are going to take the argument and always going to return some value. Otherwise, there should not be any utility of a function. Okay, so return sum. Now this function we want to use. So we are calling the function as a get sum, and it is asking for the argument list. So we have been taken a list here in the function call itself, or we can take L as a list and passing this L as a argument, and we can get a return from this get sum as a S, print S. So we can get here the sum is not defined. Okay, underscore sum to here. Okay. Now you can get. Okay, so we are getting the sum of list 1 plus 2 plus 5 plus 4. If we want, we can again call r equal to get underscore sum, and I can give any list here directly, 89, 0, 8, minus 2, 3, any longer list you can give, and then you can get a sum of this list. Now you can get this sum. If you want to give here, you can also give as a tuple. The sum of that tuple can be also get it. Okay, this one bracket is missing to make this program to be complete. Again, see, instead of list, I have been also given a tuple. This is going to be work. Okay, and I can able to use that get some function which I created for more than once on different set of list. Fine. Now here we can create one function, you can say swap, which can interchange the value. So we are giving one argument x and y, where this will take a argument x and y as a parameter. Then we are using the third variable temp. In the temp we are storing the x, and then in the x we are storing the y, and then in the y we are storing the temp. So inside the function we are getting the xy. Okay. So this function we want to call, use. So we are taking the a, b, and before doing this swap call function, we are displaying the value of a, b. Once an a, b was given to this function swap, after that we are going to call what should be the value of a, b. Now you can check here. We taken the 100 to 100. Before swapping it was 100 to 100. Inside the function it was interchange. But if we are coming back to the calling function, the a, b will remain the same. It means these values are not going to be changed outside the calling program. Okay. Here you can see this is some argument we are taking and doing this summation. Now another important function which you are going to create, they have a different way of giving the argument. One is known as the keyword argument, or you can say the named argument. The argument which we are giving to the function that we can send by name by using the key value format. It means we are giving some argument by saying that which of the value are used by which of the argument. For example, add two number num1, num2 we are taking, and in this case the function is defined as it is. The variable which we have been taken as the argument was number 1, number 2. When we are going to be call this function, we are giving this number 1 15, number 2 10. Remember, when we are going to call any function add say to num, and the order in which we are giving the argument, the first will be taken as a first parameter, second will be taken as a second parameter. If we will interchange this number as a 50 30, okay, add number, then 50, add number, then 50 will be assigned to the number 1 and 30 will be assigned to the parameter variable number 2. So the order matters. So instead of giving this way, we can able to give the parameter as a named argument. So here during this calling, we are writing that 15 should be given to the number 1 as a name of that parameter equal to 15, comma, second parameter number 2 equal to 20, 10. If we don't want to give this argument by name or keyword argument, we can give directly 20, 30. So they are going to associate with 20 and 30. Or we can give here add to num, and we can write also the num2 equal to 10, comma, num1 equal to 15. In that case order does not matter. it means that number 2 will always given the 10, number 1 will be assumed to be 15. But if we are not giving the as a named argument, then the first parameter will be always the first value, second argument is for the second value. Okay? That is going to be happen. Okay? So remember that we have function parameters. There are two type of parameters in the function. One parameter we are saying that it is a formal parameter which is appearing in the definition of a function. For example, we are creating a function say add and giving s y, and inside we are writing s equal to x plus y, return s. We are giving the definition, and then we are going to call this function add and giving some parameter 20, 30. So here this name which are appearing in the definition of the function, that is known as the formal parameter, and the parameter which are appearing during the call of the function, we are calling the function add, giving some value 20, 30. This is known as the actual parameter. Or we can also give add a and b, where a can be taken as a 10, b can be taken as a 10 and a can be taken as a 20. So a, b is known as the actual parameter. So in this case, you can observe in this example, in the cube function, whatever the parameter we are giving, that is known as the formal parameter. When we are calling the cube, then we are going to be give some argument that is known as the actual parameter. Okay? So here we are trying to find out the cube of a number. So this is one of the functions which are defined, taking some argument and returning some value. Okay? We can also pass some list into the function that already we have been seen in the example. Now come to another important function, that is known as the filter, which are going to be select element from an iterable sequence based on the result of the function. So filter function iterable. So this syntax will take a function. Each item taken from this sequence of iterable list and going to be given to the function, and that function are going to return the value of that element after processing as per the function instruction. For example, you can take here the example. We have been defined one of the function is event. What this function is supposed to take some number and going to be find out whether it is an event or odd. If it is the event, it is going to return the true, otherwise it will return the false. Now we are going to give a taking a list n, and we want to apply the filter so that it can give us true or false. If item which are going to be given to this function is given any value, they are going to be applied the is event function and going to be returning true or false after applying this particular is event function. So how we can able to call it? We are going to call as a filter, applying the filter and going to be use the function to which each of the items should go for processing. So we are writing is event. Okay, then comma, we are giving the iterable sequence of items say n. So in this case, every item will be taken from this sequence n and going to be given to the each event function, and then this function are going to apply, and this filter is going to be return event item. Select the item which are going to be satisfied this condition is event. Okay. So like that we can able to use it and this particular filter function, and this function we can define our own way so that every item should go to this function to make some processing to be happen. This is the factorial example we can use here. Now another important function is the lambda. एक मिनट ऑफ हो गया
वो ये चल रहा है.
So another important function is the lambda function, which is also known as the anonymous function. This lambda function is called anonymous function because they are not declared in the standard way. The function we are defining using the def keyword. So any function which we want to create without using the definition keyword, such function is known as the lambda function. It is basically one kind of inline function which we are using in the different programming language. So to define a lambda function, anonymous function, we are required to use the lambda keyword, so that small anonymous function are going to be created. So lambda function will take any number of arguments, but they will return always one value in the form of expression. Okay. So let us check how they are going to be written. For that purpose, we are going to be use one of the keyword lambda. So how it can be created? We are using the lambda x. Okay, it is taking some argument, and then here we are writing some computation. This is the name. There is no name for the function. Only the name is lambda. It is taking argument x and doing some lambda operation, x into x into x, and we can able to make this function to return something. So we are required to use here qb. So this lambda function was have the qb as a return which are going to be happen there. So any anonymous function is have no name. Okay. So we can use this lambda keyword to create any function which does not have any name. And if you are going to create any normal function, that function need to be use the definition keyword and qbx, and then they are going to be written this way. So if you want to call the lambda function, we are required to be just simply call the this qb and give only the argument of 10. So this qb is treated to be as a lambda function, and that lambda function are going to be called. But if you are going to call the cube, that is required to be given the argument in the different way. So that is the definition and the difference you can see between the lambda and the normal function. So this is the syntax you can see in this case. We have to use the lambda. It will take argument 1, argument 2, and then you have to write the expression. That is the format. So we can able to use it as a, and then there should be some variable should be used where this value are written. So here some lambda. Okay. Then you can give the argument a, b, c with the keyword you can clear. Then you can make a into b into c. Okay. So this a, b, c are going to multiply, and their result is going to be written into the sum. And when we want to call this sum, since sum is going to be take a lambda function will take a 3 argument. So give the 3 argument as usual we are giving in case of normal function 20 and 3. And they are going to be supposed to return, because here there should be some assignment operator and some arguments are taken. So we can store also here the L and print the L. We can get the sum of this lambda function. And this lambda function can be again used again and again, just like a normal function. Okay. So we can take another important function that is known as the sum function, which are going to take the argument. But this argument sometimes we does not know how many argument can be given. So we can able to give the arbitrary argument by using the star argument parameter, where we are required to be add star before any parameter we are going to be give into the function definition. How? Say definition my function. We are giving some arguments sub, but we does not know how many parameter it can take, so we have to add star before that one. Okay. Then we can able to choose any of that sub means subject, because it can contain any number of arguments, so we can choose, because this is more than one argument. So obviously this is going to become a sequence of number. I can able to refer any item from this sequence of number, sequence of argument, by using the indexing. So sub 2, it says that in this sequence of number which are taking many arguments, maybe 2, 3, 5, 6, 8 and so on. Many argument I can give sometime. So it can able to refer sub 2 means the third item. Okay. So when we are going to be called, how we can call? We are calling the my function giving 3 arguments. Okay. So this will sub will take 3 arguments, and from this they are going to be display the third argument. Or if you want, I can give here also the more arguments. Okay. 5, 6, 8 and 10. Okay. So that way we can give any number of argument or any number of parameters when we are going to call, but we will not get any error. It says that this function is supposed to take any number of arguments. That number of arguments will not be known in our function before calling that one. Here you can say definition my function star n. Okay. And here we are giving the any number of arguments. If you are not using the star, then we are required to suppose to give here n to be as a single value or maybe as a single variable which may contain multiple values. So this way we can give the argument to the function either as a keyword argument or as a arbitrary argument, okay, or as a named argument. So various ways we can able to give the argument. So we have various type of argument which we can give to the function. One is known as the required argument. It is mandatory that we have to give the parameter to the function. Okay, for example, add we created definition A and B. So in this it is mandatory to give this value. Keyword argument, we can give the parameter by name when we are going to call the function, or we have the variable length argument, any number of argument we can give which is not known to us in advance, so we can use add star n. Okay. So this say that it will take any number of argument as a variable length argument, or we can give the default argument. Default argument is a default value which are given to the parameter to the function. In case that value is not known, then they will take that particular default value. So these are the 4 ways I can give the argument to the function. So how the default value it can take? Let us take here what we did here. We are taking one function multiply number. Now we are taking the x and y. Okay. So multiply number, we are generally give x and y. Instead of that, we are giving also the values in this declaration, x to be 7, y to be 8. So this is known as the default value. In case during the call multiply number, this will, here we will not give any values. So x and y assume to be 7 and 8. But if you want to give any argument, we can give say 20, 30. So this function will work. So whenever this argument will not be given, in that case this will assume a default value for those arguments. Or we can give as a named argument y equal to 30. It means for x we are not giving, for y we are giving. In that case, it will this function will be called, and that function will assume for x 7 and for y 30. So this will give me the addition of y and x. So that way it can be given there. Okay. If you have any query regarding the function, you can type your query. See, lambda function is basically going to become like an inline function where you are required to give only the smaller computation. Just like you want to find out the multiplication, you want to do some kind of addition. So some kind of mathematical expressions are given in the lambda, which is not going to become much more complex during the execution. If you have any query, you can write regarding this function. See, this is the example where we are giving the variable length argument. Okay. So we are getting one function, my function, and here we are making the star argument. Okay. So it is taking any number of argument, and here what we are doing in this code is that I am taking a ready-made function sum because sum is existing inbuilt function. Okay. In this inbuilt function, I am giving this set of argument which are trying to do the summation of this argument. I am going to return this particular sum as a s equal to, and they are going to return the s. And in this case, we are displaying the returning the third argument from this set of argument which we are giving as a which we can able to display. Now how we are calling this function? My function. Okay, it is returning. So we can able to use also here some return type. Suppose if you want m equal to my function. Okay. This way we can also able to call. Okay, print m. Okay. That can work. Now you can check here. We are calling this one. There is one error. What? Okay. Some missing my function argument. So this is giving us the print lost. So let us try type error. There should be some type. My function 1, 2, 3, 4. There is some type error is coming. My function 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we will discuss these few examples in tomorrow's session. It is already 7:15, so I am going to be in this today's session. And tomorrow we will take few examples on the function, and then we will continue with the recursive function part 10 to 15 minutes, and then we will discuss about the file management in Python. Okay. So thank you everyone. So see you tomorrow with more examples on function. Okay, I will definitely share today all these code which I have, and you can practice on any of the available compiler, which will help you to understand the fundamental concept. And if you face any issue, we have the WhatsApp group. You can make a personal WhatsApp or you can make in the group those kind of errors or any issue you are facing during the execution of your program. We will help you to resolve those issues. Tomorrow we will conduct the quiz, okay, and I will give you the sufficient time. So no need to worry about the quiz. Monday you can able to go through the slides which I will share, and you are able to answer most of the questions. Okay then, thank you. See you tomorrow. Okay, good night. रिकॉर्डिंग बंद कर दो, उसके बाद बंद है क्या?
बस
हाँ
हाँ रिकॉर्डिंग बंद कर।
इसको स्टॉप